Photo Pips, welcome back to the channel, and this is just a really quick overlook of Luminar 2018. A couple of the subscribers have asked me if I could just have a quick look at it and give them some information in my opinion. Keeping in mind, everything that I do say on this channel is in my opinion anyway. So let's get started. I paid 64 English pounds for this. They give you the spiel that it's half price and everything else. But what I do like about having Luminar 2018 is, and the company, they are so generous with presets and overlays all the time. And today, this question's come at the right time because this morning I've just done a massive update on it. Now I found it a bit clunky at first, not the update previously, but also previously to me turning the graphics processor off in Photoshop. Because what was happening was I felt that Luminar or Aurora, because I have both purchased roughly about the same week. It was after I'd lost the Nick collection that destroyed me really. But Luminar 2018 is better in some respects because there's more options, but in other respects it's not as good. But that might be just because it's new. Like I say, it's slightly clunky until I turn that graphics processor off in Photoshop. Now everything's working really well. The way I judge something is I like to have iTunes on, playing constantly in the background. I like to maybe have my iMovie open, as I could be editing a video in there, then shooting over to Photoshop to then edit a photograph to put into the vlog. And that is basically my workflow. So I'll have these things open, but obviously I won't be playing iTunes when I'm working in iMovie, but they are always open. They are the three main programs: Photoshop, iMovie, and iTunes, constantly open all the time. So the update was done yesterday, and I've had a quick go on it. I've done a couple of edits ready for the new vlog of Three Shies Head, and it is working seamlessly. It's perfect. There's no clunkiness. There's no delay. Everything's fine. It seemed to leave an echo in Photoshop once you'd created an image in Luminar and then as in a plugin from Photoshop, and then you were back into Photoshop. It left Photoshop feeling slow. For instance, if you was to have two layers, one of the Luminar edit and one of the original edit before going into Luminar, you'd click them off and on, so before, after, and it would be very slow. You could see the edit gradually. It was a bit like when we used to have dial-up. For you younger guys, you wouldn't probably know what that is, but when you had dial-up internet, you could see the picture loading in. That is what it felt like. Yeah, I was really disappointed. But since turning, and I'm going to say it, since turning that graphics processor off and the update combination, now I don't know which is which, but I'm not going back. I'm not turning the graphics thing back on because it don't make any difference to me. All it seems to do was slow it down. So for me, that graphics processor off. If you've not seen the video and you're not sure how to do it, check it out up there. The link's there. But yeah. So the edits seem to be rolling really well. The choice of filters are fantastic. I like the fact you can save your presets, and although they are very generous with presets, they're just outrageous because the thing is, there's nothing wrong with them, but the people that was creating these presets was probably doing a specific picture at the time and thought, great preset, I'm going to save it. And then you load it into your picture. Well, it just doesn't work. But what it can do for you is give you an outline and a start. Because every great picture has to start with a great image. Now, that is the Bible. I don't care what anybody says. That is, I'm sure, not just my opinion, but the opinion of everybody. You need to start with a good image before you can create a good picture. So these presets that they are very generous with are, look at these as somewhere to start or somewhere to give you an idea. I like to create my own presets. I have one for portraits, one for landscapes, one for dogs. But because they're my presets, I know how I built them, what works, what doesn't work. So I can turn them off or change them for each individual shot. And that's what you need to do with your presets and the presets that they give you. And they are really, really generous with presets. You get an email, and they also are very genuine. They tend to want to know your feelings, and they want to make sure everything's working fine, and it can only get better. So I'll give you a quick overlay. Let's have a look now. So there's a few ways of opening Luminar 2018, and this also applies to Aurora 2018. Now you can open it as an independent program, which basically means coming down to the toolbar at the bottom or wherever you have it placed, or your icon placed on your desktop. And all you need to do is go down to your icons wherever it is and click or double click however you have it set up. Then it's going to ask for an image or 3 images, or in this procedure it says it needs a batch processing, which so you can stick 2 or 3 images together. It's the same with Aurora. Then you can do your HDRs. But I'm just going to go and open an image. So I'm going to find an image and basically just grab this first one. This is a raw file, so you can start off with a raw file, and you could basically, if you wanted to, scrap Photoshop and scrap Lightroom. Now, I don't really use Lightroom. I just use it as a catalogue. And look, a new version you see has just popped up for the plugin is now available. Your plugins will be updated automatically. So we're just going to click yes. It's going to ask for my password. So I'll cut straight back in a minute. Yeah, so basically that was just a plugin update, which hopefully is going to make things run better. I've not checked it. So let's just get back to this independent photograph. As you can see down the bottom here, they're my 3 presets, but if you want to go into the catalogs for the presets, you have all these here. But keeping in mind, you need to think about what sort of image you've got and what works for you. So what I'll do is I'll start using their presets just so you see. Now all these are free to download, so feel free, once you've paid for the item, is to get in there and get it downloaded. Look, that's a new one. I've not seen that one before. Solar Eclipse Pack. Now I don't know if you have to buy that or not, but if it's there, I thought that you just, yeah, there it is. It's there. If it's in my category, sorry, if it's in my catalogue, then it's mine to use, and I can use all these. Now there's my own, and they're all the freebies. I think you get, I don't know which ones you get free with it, but yeah, they're all free. You just need to subscribe, pay for the Aurora or Luminar 2018, and then download these presets. It's that easy. Or you can forget that, and you can just completely start. I mean, what's that strange one, isn't it? Yeah, so these are all free. You can just go back to your history and go back to the original. So we're back to the original, and now in this section, you're just going to add your filters. It is this easy. Look, just go to whatever you feel is going to work for this. I don't know, let's go for a bit of clarity in there, and you can work out how much clarity you want in there. And if you want to just paint it in or use it as a grad, you can do that. Once you start painting, the rest of it disappears and you get to use that bit. So again, I'm going to go to, because this is a raw file as well, I'm going to go to the raw development section. This is like Lightroom or Adobe Camera Raw, but in my opinion, I don't feel it's as good as Adobe Camera Raw, but I love Adobe Camera Raw, absolutely love it. I love it over Lightroom, everything. So I'm going to bring the highlights down, I'm going to bring the shadows up, I'm going to take a little bit of black down and bring the whites up just a little tiny bit. That's basically it. For the development module, you can change the temperatures. Everything you do in Lightroom and Adobe Camera Raw is there. We can put some clarity in there. Something keeps popping up, doing my head in. And that's way over the top, but I'm going to go over the top just so that you can see. Lens, now this is the chromatic aberration. Now in Adobe Camera Raw, you just click a button, bang, and it does it, because I can just see some here, this blue. So I'm going to have to take that blue out. See, I'm not a fan. Anyway, it's gone. Went the wrong way. Story of my life. But it's gone. So that works. Then you've got your dehaze. You've got everything polarizing. Everything that was also in Nick collection is in this, and more some. But it's learning how to use them in this specific ways and getting your presets to, because you find your own style. Now I find my own style, but I feel now I've not got Nick, I've lost a little tiny bit of it. It looks slightly different, but I'm getting there. The tweaks in this are very powerful. So when you move the slider like you would in Lightroom, you don't have to be as heavy as you are in Lightroom. So the increments seem to be a lot more powerful. So now I'm going to open this same image in Photoshop. It starts off in Adobe Camera Raw. So I'm just going to reset all the settings so we're back to normal. Now I found that development module as a raw image in Luminar was very good, but it's habit for me. So I like to go through these silly procedures. So I'm now going to go through 3 different types of software to get to where I've just been with Luminar. But it's the way I work. It's my workflow. Am I going to change it? Not at the minute. I'm not. No way. So to get where we were, I'm going to start off with the raw development module, and I'm going to put the shadows up like I did in Luminar. I'm going to take the highlights down, which is giving me a little bit of depth in there. But I felt that in Luminar that it gave me just a little bit more. It really did. I feel that the sliders are a lot more powerful in Luminar. But this is what I like about Adobe Camera Raw, is that chromatic aberration. You just click one button, it's gone. Though I've still got to get used to the one in Luminar, but I'm getting there, because realistically, in that first section where I used the raw development module, and I just went the wrong way, and then I thought, blue. So to take the blue out of a picture, you actually have to go to the blue part. I thought it'd be like the opposite, but that's just because I'm crazy. So that's that. Now I'm going to open it up in Photoshop, so section 2. Now this is where I'd start doing my own development. So now we're going into Luminar 2018. And this is, again, exactly the same as the previous one. All we've done is we've gone through 3 programs to get to where we originally were. But that is because that's my workflow. That's how I work. That's how I like to work. And that, I'm afraid, is not going to change anytime soon. It's really, really strange. It really is. And then you go in, so I've used the preset, you go in, you take off what you want, and you put in what you need. So yeah, and that's how presets works. If we want to up that. Puts the vignette around it a little bit more, but I find that was dragging, that felt really slow. Look, it's still doing it. But then again, I am recording the screen at the same time. Do I give it the benefit of the doubt? I don't know. We'll see. I'll write in the comments what happened when I turned the recording off. So I'm going to cancel that. and then I'm going to go back in and do exactly the same movements, but I'm just going to turn the screen recording off. So I know exactly what I did. Now I've just done a massive edit on a picture for my next video of 3 Shy's head, and I had no problem, so I can only put it down to the fact that I was recording the screen. So that's shut. I'm going to quit that as well, which was Luminar, and then I'm going to go back into Photoshop where our image is ready for processing in Luminar. So as a plugin, filter, Luminar, and remember I've turned the screen off now. Fires up pretty quick. We're in. So I'm going to use my preset. Then I believe I turn the cross process off and I up that, pop that. Yeah, perfect. There's nothing wrong with that. Excuse guys. Yeah, nothing wrong with that. It must have just been down to the fact that I'm recording the screen. Yes. Sweet as. Sweet as. Okay guys, so all this information that I've given you today is basically just in my opinion. I hope it helps you. As a replacement for Nick, no problem whatsoever. You get bang for your buck, more than you need. For me anyway, but you could actually dive in there and get really deep with this program. So the summary is, am I going to just use this as a standalone program or carry on using it as a plugin for Photoshop? At the moment, it's going to be a plugin for Photoshop just because I'm so used to the way I work that it's second nature. It's just literally, and you know, you're done. And I can do it quick that way. But I know also that as a standalone program, I could do exactly the same with this program and do away with Photoshop and Lightroom. So I'm going to give it a month or so and see how I get on, and whether I'm going to renew my subscription to Photoshop and Lightroom, because I do not use Lightroom. It'd be great if Adobe would come up with a package that is just Photoshop CC alone, rather than charging for both of them, because this seems to be doing the job. We'll see. We'll see. I'm going to carry on using it, give it a month to 6 weeks, see how I get on. I'm going to start using it as a standalone program as well as a plugin. Okay guys, I hope this has helped you out, and don't forget, get out and shoot. You know you want to. Cheers, take care guys, thanks.